Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado. And this is my buddy Puccini. He helps me in the craft room. Mostly he helps. Sometimes he's just a pain in the tush. And we have a great fun card for you today. I've made a happy birthday card that is a fun fold, and it's not a new fun fold, it's been around forever. It's a Z fold, but I've taken a little different orientation to it, so let's just get started. Here is my card, and it's happy birthday, and this is a back to your stash. I've used nothing here, well, with the exception of the gems, that is super current. I used the peach sweet paper, sweet as a peach, and I used the stamp set, sweet as a peach, and I used the happy birthday from there on my sentiment. And I put this together, and let me tell you what it is you need to make this card. I have a base that is Pear Pizazz that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored and folded first at 4 inches, 4¼ inches, and that gets me this fold. And then this piece that's left needs to be scored at 2 1/8 and then folded back on itself. So 2 1/8, 2 1/8, and this folds back on itself. And that is our card base. And then we need a piece of white for the inside of the card, and I made that one 4 by 5.25, and I cut 2 1/2-inch strips of one of the papers in here. I made it different than the one on the front to make this decoration on the inside of the card. Then we have this piece, which is our Z fold, and this is a piece that is 8.5, and it's scored exactly the same way at 4 1/4 and 2 1/8, and then you fold it like this and you attach it to your card like this, and it creates the Z fold. And you can do lots of things, lots of variations from this one once you get going. Then I have 2 pieces of this DSP from that paper pack, and these 2 are going to go together here to back my sentiment to make this piece a little bit larger, and so that if somebody does see it from the back side, it's nice and clean. There's nothing showing that you wouldn't want people to see. Okay, then in addition, you need a piece of scrap of Pear Pizazz, and I used my everyday, whoops, that's the wrong one, my everyday label punch, and I cut one in Pear Pizazz and I cut one in white, and that is for our sentiment. Those 2 are going to go together, and I'll show you how to do that and then put on here. Then we have a piece of this beautiful peach paper, and this is 5 1/4 by 2 7/8, and it's going to go right here on the front of our card. And then the last pieces I have are these pieces that are going to decorate our band that goes across. So these pieces are 1 inch, and then this first one is by 4 inches, and each of these is by 1 7/8. And so that is all of the pieces that we need to make this card. And since it's paper, very little stamping, and just assembly, this is a pretty easy one to put together. And I think it's got a pretty nice wow factor here. Now you could do more with it. You could fussy cut out a peach or 2, or use the dies that come with this and put some additional decoration on the inside. The other thing that I've seen people do, and this might be kind of fun, would be to add some layers in here. I'll bring that so you can see in there. And you would make a piece, that's like this, that would fit inside there. And you'd make it about 2 1/8 inches, and then a small piece that goes back would go back from the edge of either side, and glue that in and make some layers that come across here. Then you can put other things in there and attach them to those pieces, and so you'd end up with quite a fancy pop-up assembly here. That might be kind of fun to do with that new greenhouse set that we have. And maybe I'll do one of those and show you how to make those inserts and do that in one of my upcoming videos. So to get started here, the very first thing we need to do is to attach our pieces. This doesn't have any ribbon, no reason not to put everything straight together. With this piece, we're just going to add some adhesive and set this piece right on here on the front of our card. And here's my helper. And there we go. That's all we need for that one. Then these two pieces are going to go right on the edge of that white, leaving no margin on the outside. And so we can adhere those. So this one is going to go right up to that edge, come all the way down that edge and off the bottom. And as I often do, I cut them a tiny bit longer than they need to be, so I can snip that off and have a perfect fit. So we'll attach that to one side and this other one to the other side. It's kind of fun to go back. I really enjoyed this, going back to your stash business and using up some of the materials that, you know, when the new catalog comes out, it's real easy to get real excited about everything that's in there and forget all of the wonderful things that we've got in our annual catalog. So I'm going to just snip that piece off, and there I've got my perfect fit. I can add my adhesive to this. Oops, out of tape. Okay, back to adding my seal onto my project here. And then this piece is ready to go on here with a similar margin all the way around. Isn't that pretty already? I just love this paper. Such beautiful color combinations. Okay, for this piece, I'm going to take this piece and just put them together back to back. And since I have to wiggle that around a little bit, I'm going to use my dot runner to do that. And put those together so that they're back to back. And then this piece, when we put it together, is going to require me to cut this piece in half. And I cut off these little parts of the half circle that go along the edge here. And they're hard to get lined up, and so it's just easier to make them go away. All right, so we're all ready to go there. And let's see, we can add a little bit more paper to my band that's going to go across that makes this the Z fold. So I can add my paper on there and then add my paper to the other two pieces. This is actually a fairly simple card to make, and they're really fun. And the Designer Series paper makes this pretty darn easy to do. And other than the fact that that's not very straight, that's a little better. There we go. So that piece is all ready to go. And I think I just need to do my stamping. So I have my happy birthday here, and I decided to do that in this card. I did it in the Calypso Coral, which is the complementary color for this one. So I've got my happy birthday. Looks like this ink pad probably needs to be re-inked. And I'm going to center that right across this label. And there we go, got our happy birthday. And then out of that same stamp set, there's these cute little flowers, and I hadn't seen those leaves. Maybe we'll put those leaves on here too. So I'm just going to ink that up in the Calypso Coral, and I'm going to set one bunch of those flowers. Oops, kind of missed that a little bit. Let's see if I can fix that. Well, not a very good job. Okay, try that again. So I'm going to put those there, and then put another set of them down here, and re-stamp my happy birthday right across the center of that label. And this goes particularly fast because that is a punch. And there we go. All right, now I did find that these flowers have centers, and what I did was I used a little bit of soft suede for the centers of my flowers, and I might just grab those little tiny leaves and put them in there in the green, because one of the, there they are. Boy, they're tiny. But that's exactly what I want. And this is Pear Pizazz. So I'm going to grab my Pear Pizazz ink, and I'm going to put a couple of those little leaves right in here to dress this up a little bit. Right there. And right there. Maybe a couple more. I think it makes a difference on how this looks. And there we go. So now we've got a few leaves and flowers on our banner. And then this piece, what you do is on the back of this you add some snail, and then these pieces can be added to make this look like it's got a backing. And because we cut those pieces off the corner, I can make that piece as large as I like without showing a piece that's going to look kind of funny. So let's see if that's at all straight. It's not bad. Pretty good. Okay, so that piece is all ready to go. And that is going to go here on this. And this was why I wanted to have this piece be backed both directions, so that when I put this piece on here, if somebody happens to be able to see the back of that, they won't see any of this mess back here. So, put my happy birthday on there. All right, I think we're ready to put our band on. And the way this works is this band is going to go all the way to the end of this card, and it's going to fold over, and it's going to go to the end of this card. So basically it's going to go all the way across the card like this. And so I'm just going to pick this up like this, and know that I want my glue to be more to this side. So I'm going to add my glue there, and then I can glue this whole last panel and put this on so that this piece comes all the way across here, and I'm putting it up, oh, maybe a little bit more than a ½ an inch, and put that in place. And see, my glue isn't showing here. And then I'm going to take this all the way across to this end of the card and put that down so that it's straight across this end. And it looks like I've got just a tiny bit here that needs to be trimmed away for a perfect fit. And there we go. That is our Z-fold card. And in fact, maybe this could go just a little further out so that it really folds beautifully. And then I trim off a little bit of this end too. So I'm just going to trim that edge there. And that's all I'm really taking off, is just a hair, just so that I get a perfect fit. All right. Now my Z-fold folds just exactly the way I want it. I've got plenty of decoration on it. And then this piece is going to go on here and fill up more of the card. And that way, when you write your sentiment on the inside, you've got a place that's covered up to write your sentiment. All right, so let's see if I put this on here and I have that more centered on there. I'm going to need my glue to be on this side. So I'm just going to back up a little bit and put lots of glue, because that's going to help people open the card. So I want it real nice and glued down. And there we go, right in here. Well, it's not quite centered. It's a little bit more this way, but I think that works. There we go. And there we go. We've got our card made. Isn't that easy? Nice and fast and simple. The Designer Series paper does most of the heavy lifting for us, and we've got this beautiful paper, and it's about time to start thinking about spring again, so that's what I did. Now, for gems, we don't have anything in Calypso Coral, but we do have these iridescent gems. And so what I did was I took my iridescent gems and I took my, oh, that tip is all beat up. And I took my blend marker, that is the dark Calypso Coral, and I just went around. Well, I'm going to have to replace that one. That's really beat up. And I colored some of these iridescent rhinestones because I liked the idea that they were iridescent, and I wanted to have them match more with the Calypso Coral. So I did that, and then I used my pick tool and I picked up some of those colored rhinestones and put them on my card. And I put one on my label, and then I put one on this band that we can see from the inside. Boy, I'm having trouble picking that up today. Let me try doing it this way. There we go. And so I think it's going to show the best if I put it up here. And because it's with the alcohol marker, those dry just so fast. And maybe one right down here. And I probably only want 5. But right in there. And let's see, one more. Where would it be show the most? I think maybe I'll stick it over in this corner. All right, there we go. Oh, I like those little leaves on there. In fact, maybe I'll just add those little leaves to this other one. Sometimes that little detail can make a big difference, and that matches a little bit better. So I'm pretty happy with that. So that is my project for the day. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. I'm going to give this a little bit more of a burnish in a couple of these spots, so this will lay a little bit flatter. You do your burnishing a little bit more when your card is still not put together, so it'll stay a little bit flatter. And there we go. That is my project for the day. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, well, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Or you could join my team. Let's see, this is the celebration will be over, so sad, when this video gets posted. So we'll be back to the normal deal for joining Stampin' Up!, which is still a pretty good deal. It's $125 worth of product for $99, and then you start out with a 20% discount. So that's the join offer right now. And let's see, I always give a prize draw, a $60 shopping spree on me, and all you have to do to get into my drawing is place an order of any size on my store, lbedinger.stampingup.net, or you can get to it through my blog, www.ingenuity.com. By the way, I think other than this video and my last video, my blog is now completely caught up, and hopefully I will be able to keep that up. Now I'm kind of back to my more normal routine. And there is one other thing I wanted to tell you about. There is a offer right now for the mini Stampin' Up! Stampin' Emboss machine, and it's at a 20% discount, which means $12 off at $60, so it would be $48. And then there's a whole bunch, I want to say 8 or 9 different stamp sets that are also 20% off only during the month of March. And I will be putting up a post about all of that on my blog probably tomorrow. So if you want to take advantage of that, that's a pretty good deal going on right now. So thanks again for stopping by, and I will be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye.